Good evening, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and this is going to be a visit to the idea of exaggerations, such as someone saying that they were there when maybe they heard about something in the news or saw something on social media. I recently watched a video where a woman describes having a conversation with her family regarding the September 11th attacks. This is September, and it was a recent anniversary, so the video was apropos, but she was talking about this event that she lived through with her younger daughter who was not alive at the time, and she's like, well, I was there, so, and I'm like thinking to myself, well, you weren't there unless you were in one of the planes or in the buildings or in the planning room where the attackers were planning it out. You weren't actually there. Whatever you think you know about it was at best relayed through the media. So this is just one example. I don't want to go on and on about this one example, but as a second example, things don't happen until they happen. What I mean is, you can't almost do something or say something or see something, but this happens all the time in conversation. You say something was on the verge of happening, or something was adjacent to happening, or I almost saw them do it, or he almost did something, or she almost did something. No. It doesn't happen till it happens, yo. After it happens, if something happens, then you can say it did, because you can't know. Even with a crystal ball, my understanding of quantum physics is you still can't know. There's no possible way until it actually happens. So just one more example, and then the final example is actually connected to the first one, and that is relating to the September 11th terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. There was a story in the news, and that story painted a picture of Middle Eastern peasants and dirt farmers being organized enough to stage an attack with box cutters, in which American jumbo jets were hijacked and successfully navigated and flown into the skyscrapers in Manhattan. And if all that seems legit, if all that on the surface doesn't sound incredible, then hold on one second. Consider that right now, in modern times, like literally today, if you did a survey, and I know this because I just watched a survey, the exact survey that I'm about to describe, of current knowledge, including a wide cross-section of people as to what happened in 2001 on September 11th, almost nobody even remembers it who was alive back then, with clarity, as with some kind of sensible telling of the cause of it. And anyone born after the event is patently ignorant as to what happened. With very few exceptions. There are exceptions. Some people have heard about it in school. I don't mean to say that literally everyone who was born afterwards has not heard about it, but my point is they don't understand what happened, and even the people who do remember it, who are alive then, have a vague recollection of the story that was told. And I think that the point isn't that they should or shouldn't remember it, or that the story is bogus. It's that it has been erased. I think that we're witnessing erasure of history here. I mean, it was a domestic terror attack, allegedly, on U.S. soil, less than 30 years ago, and supposedly by foreign interests who were successful in an attack, a military attack that destroyed skyscrapers in one of our biggest cities in broad daylight in public view on world news, with thousands and thousands of casualties, including firemen and innocent people, business people, and there was never, ever presented a satisfactory explanation as to what happened. We just got this ridiculous story that remains ridiculous to this day, and in fact, those who remember it can't even remember it because it was so ridiculous, it never even lodged in their memory. I think just the fact that so few people remember this event, let alone remember it clearly with a plausible explanation, is highly curious. And I'm not even going to try to explain what happened. I may or may not have an idea myself, but that's not the point of this video. The point is that, and I will try to find that survey I spoke of and link it in my description, this video's description, where random people are asked to explain what happened, and the vast majority have no recollection. The few people who do have almost zero understanding, let alone actual sensible understanding of what happened. It's just it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And the only explanation I can think of is that it's being pulled out of the history books. It's being erased from public memory. And I can see no other possible explanation, which would seem to suggest complicity by the people who are managing those same books. I mean, I'm not going to try to jump down some rabbit hole, but that would be my first guess. Would it not? I mean, is that not a logical next step? But anyway, before I digress into tinfoil territory, I do want to sign off and reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for watching.